I feel like we're gonna be Oprah and Ava DuVernay 10 years from now. Like you're gonna be the one with the big, like you're gonna own half of Hawaii and you're gonna invite me for my 45th birthday and treat me too.
It's time for the BAQA. Hey, the BAQA. What you say? The BAQA with Manday. The BAQA with Tiffany. Hey, you guys got a little pre-clip. I actually like that. I feel like we should do that. Like a pre-clip of conversation before the BAQA intro song. So you can get a little. Oh,
yeah, we hear.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I like that. That was cute or whatever. So welcome to the BAQA where you have questions and we have answers. This one is different though, because we're doing a hot seat swap. So last BAQA, if you did not listen to it, Mandy was in the hot seat and I asked her questions. And my questions really revolved around negotiating and how I can confidently ask for more in a way that, like, you know, that I feel empowered, but that people actually give me my money. And Mandy gave me some amazing advice that actually has worked since then. It's been a week. And if you know anything about me, I'm going to execute. And
what a
so
good student.
Yeah, it was just great. So go ahead and go listen. It was really helpful. And now this time I'm in the hot seat. But if you want to be in the hot seat before Mandy starts asking me questions, if you want to be in the hot seat, so what can they do, Mandy, if they want to be in the hot seat?
So when we say hot seat, we mean we want you guys, we want BA fam here live with us in the studio so you can ask us your BA Q&A questions live. So in order to do that, we need you to send us a DM on Instagram. This is special. Don't just write out your question. We want you to actually send a voice note or a video. And if you don't know, ask a teenager that you know, or Google it or whatever, you'll figure it out. Okay. Send us your question via voice note or video, and we will select the best questions. And you may get an invite to come live in the virtual studio and tape with us for our special Friday BA Q&A.
Yes. So virtually, you know, because some people are like, we on to the studio. I'm like, virtually. So, and then that means you can ask me and Mandy your business questions, your career questions, your personal finance questions, or just anything in between. And so, so we're excited about this. So this time it's my turn. So let me just get myself, okay. Mandy about to ask me some questions.
Goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I'm cheating because like I always ask Tiffany these kinds of questions, but usually we're going to try. I'm like, we only have 30 minutes. Oh Lord. Usually we on the phone for like 2 hours and I still don't feel like I got enough. Okay, Tiff. So as you guys know, I have been running my business now for like a year and a half, year and some change. And I originally focused on career coaching. I am now, based on some guidance from Tiffany and also just sort of seeing where my superpower has emerged, like what makes me different. I am niching down and I'm going even further and identifying myself as a negotiation expert, not just a career coach, which I do, and I do well, but an actual negotiation expert. So Tiff, what I wanted to talk to you first is like, what are some lessons about niching down that you think have been pivotal to your business success? And do you think that it's smart of me to start niching down in this way, even further from like career expert, but really as like a negotiation expert?
So I learned the niche down lesson when in the beginning, like so many entrepreneurs, it's like, I do everything for everybody, you know, and it sounds great because it's like, I have a big audience, but what happens is psychologically, the potential customer does not see your full value. Right. So imagine, like, what's your favorite food that you like to eat?
Ooh.
Like type of food, like Greek, Italian.
Arepas.
Okay. So like Spanish, like, was that Dominican food?
That's Venezuelan.
Venezuelan. Okay. So you love Venezuelan food. And if I said, Mandy, let's go out to eat, you know, I'm in the mood for Venezuelan alongside with you. Should we go to this Venezuelan restaurant or should we go to this buffet that also serves Venezuelan food? Which one would you choose?
I would choose the Venezuelan restaurant.
Right? Because why? Because the assumption is that restaurant focused specifically on Venezuelan food, meaning they're going to bring you the best possible food outcome because that's all they do. The buffet is, although they might have general good, they are a general food place. And so if you're wanting customers that are going to cling to you and say, you are my go-to, you can't be a buffet business. You know, because then you're going to get customers who are indecisive. I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Mandy could do or anybody else could do. Because any buffet will do
Yeah.
if you're just looking for general food. But if I want Venezuelan food, I'm going specifically, like we're calling Venezuelan food like negotiating. If I want negotiating advice, I go specifically to Mandy because that's what she does versus another coach who coaches in all things. Now, here's what makes it special, though. In the beginning, niching down is critical because you're wanting to connect you want to have this visceral connection with your audience. And you do that by being very specific, but you're not going to stay there forever. Because ideally what you're wanting is you want to really grow what I call a tree business. So a tree business is a business that grows a really strong root in one core thing. I am the budgetista, budget. And I grew such a strong root, such a strong trunk in that tree. If you're watching on YouTube, which you should be, you'll see my hand. So this is a tree trunk.
Yeah.
Such a strong tree trunk in budgeting. Over time, I got to branch off into these strong branches I also talk about credit and debt, and I have books, I have an online school. You see what I mean? Nike was just a running sneaker. And now you can buy Nike watches, Nike t-shirts, Nike apps. But if Nike opened with that from the very beginning, they would be a bush business. You know how bushes grow? They sprout very quickly and their branches are brittle and they stunt their own growth. And so that's why I told you that get really, really clear and niche down, but it doesn't mean you'll be niched forever, but you are growing the tree trunk that people will come to know, love, and trust you for. So then you can branch out into these stronger branches because they're like, oh, is that Mandy from the negotiating thing that I love so much? Oh, she also has, and she has, and she has, and she has, and she has. Versus, you're like the corner store where they're selling chicken chains and bootleg
lotto tickets.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why that's the big lesson. That's why I told you to start from that place, because you'll set yourself apart as a specialist.
Thank you for reminding me of that point. And I love the tree trunk analogy. I feel like we need to compile and make a book out of all these beautiful horticulture analogies that fit so well with business. And
yes.
No, but for real, because even though I remember, I'm like niching, and you hear a lot of things. A lot of people are like, riches are in your niches, even though you don't pronounce anyway. And niching down and how important that is. And of course, you've told me that as well. You can sometimes your mind gets in your own way.
Yes.
And even just today, I'm like, oh, but wait, I do this and that too. But I'm like, yeah, you just reminded me that's okay. Focus on the negotiating, making that the tree trunk, because I haven't had that one pillar of greatness of excellence until I started to lean into negotiating. I definitely had a lot of great feedback as a career coach, but to actually be able to articulate my value and build trust with the community, to be the go-to and build that trust in that one skill set, then I feel and you reminded me that, okay, of course, they would then trust me for what I think is also important: professional branding, interview skills, all of the other components of a holistic career approach. So, okay, niching down, I'm going to remember the branch and the trunk and the branches. All right, fabulous. So, and you guys who are listening probably know, I'm working on a book proposal. I'm so close to being done.
Yay.
Yay. So I've been working with a coach since June, and it's been wonderful. Her name's Rochelle, and it's been really helpful to have that accountability to actually get this stage of the process done. Because at this point in my business, no one, people are not knocking down my door begging me to write a book. So I have to actually propose a concept for a book and then take that to an agent and then to a publisher. But I'm already, of course, thinking I'm manifesting that I'm going to get a book deal. And I know with Get Good with Money, sort of being there a little bit to watch your journey, is how important it is, not about just selling that book when it hits shelves, but the 6 months before, that pre-selling. The pre-ordering and that strategy. So I know it's maybe a little premature because I've just, finished I'm almost done with the book proposal, but I don't have a book deal yet. But I would love if you can talk a little bit about the strategy that helped you propel Get Good with Money in those 6 months pre-ordering phase to become the national bestseller that it eventually did.
New York Times, or who's counting, for 8 weeks?
Sorry, New York Times.
No, but honestly, I'm glad you said that. And honestly, Mandy, I'm gonna share this with you. So one of my mentees, her book comes out next year, and actually I was talking to one of my friends who She has a huge book. If I said her name, you'd be like, what? That's your friend? But she has a huge book coming out. And so my mentee, I was coaching her for the last like 3 months, just off GP, about her book and what to do. And I gave her all of the notes that my team and I had. I added her to our Slack channel that we had. She went through, created a spreadsheet called, and it says T minus 7 months, where literally what we did month by month by month by month. I was like, girl, thank you. So I was going to give that to you, just so you know. People who are listening, I know, not you. I'm going to give that to Mandy. Because I'm going to give that to my mentees. Like, I have like mymentortiffany.com. So I'm going to gift that to my mentees there, but I'm going to give it to you so you have it, so you can just to start to look. Because it's like, so even I was like, we did that. So, but here's some core things. So at its most basic, as soon as you know your book name, go buy it. Mandy knows that my pet peeve is get that damn domain. It's $10 from GoDaddy. Like, don't let somebody else. And if you can't get your domain, slap book on it. So Get Good with Money was taken. But as soon as I knew that was the name of my book, GoDaddy actually has this great feature where for like $60, they will negotiate on your behalf to buy the domain. So I had to buy mine. I think I paid $1,200, but it was worth it. And if I couldn't get it, I was just going to I think I had already bought like getgoodwithmoneybook.com. Like that's, you slap book on the beginning or the end of it. For the most part, you could probably get your domain. So get your domain. It seems simple, but the thing I see now is that that's going to help with marketing so much, because if you're just saying, click the link in my bio or go buy on Amazon, that is not going to be helpful, because in order to make national bestsellers lists, they like to see that you're a true national bestseller. They want to see that you have book sales in different places. Target is selling your book and people are buying. Barnes and Nobles is selling your book and people are buying. Certainly Amazon, they know that's the biggest chunk. But if all your book sales come from Amazon, then you're not likely to make the list. So if all you're doing is sending people to Amazon, you're cutting yourself off. So get your domain. So also too, something you should be thinking about now, because it might take a while, build that basic website. If you look at getgoodwithmoney.com, we're not geniuses. My publisher, and certainly your publisher might help, they gave me like 4 or 5 other book sites that tended to do well. And so I took and I made an amalgamation of all the aspects of that site that really worked. And that's how I had my book person, my developer make getgoodwithmoney.com. So if you go there, everything there is on purpose to get people to go and figure out what book they want to buy, where they want to purchase the book from, all those things. Okay. So that's 2. Make sure you're having buy your domain, get your website, start building that, because that might take some time. 3, these are some basic things. And because honestly, I'm actually working on a checklist, Mandy. So as soon as I finish it, almost like a startup checklist, I'll share that with you too. Before, during, and after the book comes out checklist that every author friend I know should know. Because beautiful. I was talking to my friend, my big time friend whose book is coming out, and it sounded very overwhelming, the things I was telling her. And I was like, Tiffany, this is too much. You need to just come up with a checklist, even if it's 30 things. Okay, before the book comes out, do this. During, when the book is here, during launch time, and then after. So I'm working on that, and I'll give you that too. Okay, so something else that's super simple. It seems simple, but people forget. Go to Amazon and create an author page. This is really important. My publisher told me this. You create an author page because you're going to want to get people to follow it. So Amazon can then let people know who are interested in you. Hey, your book is coming out. That takes off, because Amazon will literally ping people hey, your book is coming out. Hey, Mandy, who you're following, book is coming out. So it seems simple, but yeah, just creating an author page on Amazon.
Can I do that before I get a deal though? Probably not.
No, so probably for you, because I had some self-published books before.
Yeah.
So see how long, how it's going to work for you might want to Google how far in advance can I create an author page? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just because I said, I had I had a ton of self-published books. So it was easy for me to already have, because I already had an author page, but I didn't know how important that was. Something else.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I didn't honestly, there's so many things I learned. When I tell you, that's why I said I need to create this checklist, because my, the spreadsheet it can be a little overwhelming, although it's really great and detailed. Just a basic checklist for those people who don't want to do all of that, because I did all the things. Something that really helped ahead of time too is create your street team. So I called my street team my DC for Dreamcatchers, my DC 500. And so what that is, it's a group of anywhere from 50 to no more than 500. 500 was just because my audience is really large, but 50 to 500 folks who are committed to helping you to get the word about the book. But here's the thing, that's not how you're going to ask them. Because when we first said, hey, DC 500, who wants to help Tiffany promote the book? Nobody cared. Because they don't care. People are busy. So instead, I said, hey, book's coming out in a few months. As a big thank you, I want to say thank you, although I can't do it for everyone, but for 500 Dreamcatchers, I'm going to give you the digital version of the book for free up front. Now, it's a specific type of copy where it's a link that the publisher gives you that on the back end, they can turn off after 30 days, 60 days. So they don't get to keep it forever. But still, you get to get the digital version of the book. You get to you get a discounted version of you get a discount on the book when it first comes out that no one else gets. I was also sending my bracelets with it. It comes like your book, only your book for these people in the group will come with a bracelet. I'm going to be going live with y'all throughout the process of teaching you guys these behind the scene financial tips or whatever. It was like a list of, and I could share. I'm trying to think, did I share it with my mentees? If I haven't shared, I'm gonna. But I'll share that with you, the email that I sent. And the thing is, I did this also for the Netflix special. We have a 500 group people there. And so what you do is you pour into them 10 things and you ask for one. Hey guys, like for example, something I asked for that you can do ahead of time is Goodreads. So if you want your books to be in libraries, librarians don't look at Amazon reviews. They look at Goodreads reviews.
Okay.
And so what's so great about Goodreads is that Amazon won't let you review a book until the book is actually live. But Goodreads, you can review a book before it's live because they know people get galley copies, which is just an early version, digital version of the book. So if you can say, hey, my street team, call them a name. We love a name around here. Mandy Moneymakers, right? Hey, name of my people. Here's your digital version. Please take this month to read it. And then next month, hey, can you guys leave me a review? Obviously, you never ask for, leave me a 5-star review. Just leave me a review. You hope that most people are going to leave you a 5-star review. And so, but it gets your reviews going. And then it lets librarians know ahead of time, hey, there's this interesting book coming out. It already has 150 reviews. This is great. Let me order it. Because the more reviews you have, the more copies they're likely to order for their library. I've had libraries that order 20 copies of the book, which is amazing. Because you think about, because they saw it's gotten really popular on Goodreads. So we should have a number of copies in store, in stock. So that's something like definitely ahead of time. But when I tell you, I'm not going to lie, when my publisher said, have this like street team, it didn't make sense to me. It seemed counterintuitive to give my book to 500 people and then expect that they're going to buy the book. They're not going to do that. I was wrong. And one of the missteps I made was not leaning into my DC 500 even more because they got the digital copy. By the time the real book came out, the digital copy had disappeared. They had their 2 months with it because I think we had the group for like 2 or 3 months ahead of time. The digital copy disappeared. And those 500 women, because they had a special link, because they got a discount. Those 500 women bought nearly 4,000 books. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Still to this day. What'd you say?
That's like 20 books each?
Girl, I
don't understand. I thought I liked you a lot.
I mean, and
so. Too.
So what's so crazy? I couldn't believe it. But it's because of all the pouring in, I guess. Because remember, for every one thing you're pouring in, I mean, I'm not really 10, but you're pouring the value is to 1 to 10, basically. And so at the time when Clubhouse was out, this is when it was like really hard to get a Clubhouse invite. So that was one of the gifts that I gave them. I gave them Clubhouse invites, and then we had a Clubhouse stage together where everybody changed their picture on Clubhouse to the copy of the book.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it was just honestly, when I tell you, it was so much fun to just hang out with these group of largely women who are just like, they received so much value. They got to connect with each other. So we did do it on Facebook, and it was temporary. So a month after the book came out, we let them know it's only temporary anyway. But a month after the book came out, we closed it down. So it was like a few months before, because the purpose of your street team, their most value is before and during launch week, and then afterwards, like certainly like a few weeks after. So a month after, we were like, okay. Like we're closing down, and they knew, and they're like, this is amazing. Yeah. But what that let me know is whenever I do something again, like I said, we have the Netflix film. We did it again, and it's been working amazing. Hey, everybody, Tiffany is going to be doing a live Q&A with y'all. But before we do, we need to have at least 100 of y'all show a screenshot where you gave a thumbs up on the film. And it was like, you see what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like, or like, hey, you have to, we need like 50 people to have shared it on their Twitter. Hashtag get smart with money. Once we have a screenshot of that, then I'm going to do a live with XYZ person, from the film. So like, so you get your people going like, hey, you give a thing and say, in exchange, I just need this small little thing, and honestly, they're happy to do it. Because they're receiving so much in advance. So that was a huge, huge, huge. So I cannot overstate how I wish I would have poured even more into that crowd because of how much I did not know, honestly, how valuable that was going to be. So that was huge. And I would say there was a bunch of a ton of other things, but you have to know this. If you want a national bestseller, like a New York Times bestseller or otherwise, the key things they're looking for is you have to sell a number of books within 1 week. Now, here's the caveat. Your first week of book sales, they will add on any pre-orders before the book was live.
Right.
That's why a lot of people make it 1 week and then fall off. There's no shade in that, but I'm just saying. Yeah. So, if you're most likely to make any bestsellers list within your first week because any of those pre-sales, now you have to just ask yourself, are you someone, if you have a smaller audience, you want to start pre-selling months out so you can collect a few hundred, a few whatever along the way. If you have a bigger audience, we started to heavy pre-sale 2 months out because we knew for us, it was about building the excitement and then saying pre-sales available, even though they could have bought it beforehand. But you see what I mean? So if you're the bigger the audience, the closer to time that you want to quote unquote open pre-sales. The smaller the audience, you need time to collect your book sales. So just consider that, so you want to, you want to sell. Well, it depends. You know what I mean? Because everyone's different. There's nothing wrong with that. So knowing that, you want to have so that means you're going to have your website earlier, sooner than later. You're going to want to have your, you're going to want to have something else that was really helpful. We did a quiz, which I highly suggest.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yes.
Those and the marketing part of my book proposal was the most recent thing that I just finished. Mm-hmm. And I came up with these and with help from my coach too, because she was saying how having freebies or, incentives for people to buy the book early. Mm-hmm. And also because you're asking people to order the book months in advance, right? You did the quiz and didn't you have a financial wholeness, a summit checklist?
So I did a summit, which it was okay. But the quiz was really great. So my book is Get Good with Money, 10 Simple Steps to Becoming Financially Whole. So I did a quiz where super simple. I'll give you the quiz link, if you're listening, it's GGWM for getgoodwithmoneyquiz.com. But I'll give you actually the quiz, the company we use. It was pretty easy. And it's just a thumbs up, thumbs down. And so it's the 10 simple steps, but there's 10 questions. Do you have a budget or whatever the question is? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Because so all the steps, budget, savings, credit, debt, all that, each one of those is a question. And it's a 60-second quiz. Thumbs up, thumbs down. But if you go right now, let's go to GGWM. What I love about this quiz site is you get to see at the bottom, Mandy, look how many people have taken this quiz. 69,303 people.
Holy crap.
Isn't that crazy?
How does that help you with sales? Because they come to your page to take the quiz?
So they take the quiz. So one, I tell people you're taking the quiz for two things. One, so you can know what percentage of financial wholeness you've reached. So at the end of the quiz, it's going to say, because there's 10 questions. So if you get, 1 thumbs up, you're 10%. You get 50 thumbs up, 5 thumbs up, 50%. So anything 50% and above, you get oh, I see you, girl. You get in there. Anything below, it's okay. It's okay. I got you. So at the end of the quiz, two things happen. One, it says you're going to get your checklist emailed to you. So you don't even get your quiz results. So so it collects your name and your email. So you get your quiz result after you give me your name and email. So you get your result and the checklist after. And I just spoke with our tech person today. She said that quiz email, the open rate is 80%, which is insane. If you know anything about email open rates, good is 20%. Yeah. 80% of people who get that because they want the checklist. So at the end of the quiz, I give you your percentage, right? You get 20%, 30%, whatever. And then I also say, if you don't have 100%, let me help you. Go to getgoodwithmoney.com and get the book. So you see? So
I just faked the quiz and I got 100%. So I don't think I got that message.
No, it should say at the bottom. It should still say didn't get 100%.
No, I see it at the bottom. Yeah. Yes. And I see the cute Dr. Phil, Phil and Liv from,
yes.
Wait, Phil and Viv, damn, from Fresh Prince. So
But you
cute.
see, it's like, so
Yeah.
either way, you get told about the book. So now if this was before the book came out, it would say, it would literally just say, hey, go get your checklist from, and from your email, before the book, because there was no book to get, or it would take you to pre-order, like, hey, didn't get 100%, or or even if you did, you could pre-order the book now. And now that the book is out, it says, did you get 100% or didn't get 100%? You could get the book now. Let me tell you how effective this quiz has been. So my site, Get Good with Money. So if you watch the movie, Get Smart with Money, my book is prominently featured. They keep calling me New York Times bestselling author Tiffany. So I knew people were going to go to the budgetnista.com website and the Get Good with Money website. They were going to find both. So at the top of both websites, it says something to the effect of, are you here because you saw me on Netflix? Are you ready to get smart with money? Start here. And the here took them to the quiz. Now, before the movie came out, it was 60,000 people who had taken the quiz. Now that the movie is out, 9,000 additional people have taken that quiz. And as a result, Mandy, I have sold over 4,000 additional books more than I normally sell.
Oh,
but you see how like it seems
so it lives
like,
on.
Yes. And so now a few things happen. One, I get book sales. Two, I get your email. So now when I send out my weekly goodies, now you're part of the ecosystem of Budgetnista. And let's just say you didn't buy the book. That's okay, because every week I'm going to send you something amazing. And then eventually maybe you're like, I should buy the book or sign up for the academy or become you see what I mean? So the quiz is just such a great way to, one, introduce people to you in a fun way. Two, capture their email. Three, give them something valuable. So mine was a checklist at the end. Four, sell your book or whatever it's going to be. You see what I mean? Like that one quiz did like 6 things for me. And so that
we
was
also
so.
Just talk about I have not been into your website in a minute, but this Budgetnista book on the homepage. When did you do this?
I know.
This is
Girl,
this is amazing.
Within a week and a half, when I found that the movie was coming out in a week and a half later, because Netflix does not give you no warning. They're like, oh, it's going to be coming out. I rebuilt my web. I had them. We worked. Labor Day was not a vacation. We labored on Labor Day.
This is new. I haven't seen this yet.
No, it literally it went live the month before. Not the month before, the day before the movie came out, because I realized like, wait, people are going to be going to my website. My website has not been updated in years, and it was a mess. It was all over. We worked so hard to get the website to have all the things on it, from Brand Ambition, the Literature Academy. But it's the website is done exactly what it's meant to do, and that people have come here and found whatever they're needing from me. First things first is that they go to the quiz. That's why we had 9,000 people take that quiz. We have an additional 4,000 or 5,000 people that have joined the email list. It's been insane. And so having the right website is so critical, and having a quiz ahead of time. This is just in general. Like, let's just say you're not even having a book. Like, having a way to capture emails. Email still is like one of the number one ways to connect with people. Something else to consider for your book ahead of time too is consider it can be expensive, so it's not for everyone, but consider also collecting text messages, because the average open email rate is like 20%. That's considered decent, but text message open rate is 80 to 90%.
Oh, collecting their phone numbers. Yeah, you've talked about that. Do you still use that text community? What's it called?
It's called. So I use Superphone, but it can be a little pricey. You pay basically by how many texts you send out, but it's still something to consider, because you can just use it when you're really needing it. But I like it because my open rate, like I said, on Superphone is like 90%, which is like typical for text. And what's so great about it is that with a text message, so if you go to, for example, right now, if you go to textbudgetnista.com, so let's all go, class, text Budgetnista. What I like about Superphone over the community, because community is the popular text messaging system that you see all the celebrities using when they're like, hey, you want to text with me? This is my real number. Remember everybody was doing that? Text me at 2291111. Now, here's the thing. It is their real number. It's their number, and it typically goes to their phone, which is fine. But the problem with the community way of getting people to sign up is that I have to remember my number, and so do you. Mm-hmm. But what I like about Superphone, which is genius, is I don't have to remember that. So they were like, Tiffany, go to GoDaddy, go get you a domain, And now I can just say, you want to sign up for text messaging for me? Honestly, I don't text often. I just text when I'm like, hey, I'm going to be here, or there's some free resource I want you to have access to. So I tell people, go to textbudgetnista.com. You put in your information and it texts you. And then from there, you follow the directions. You see what I mean? And what I love about Superphone too is that, so one, it's easy to remember. What did Tiffany say again? Oh, text Budgetnista, not 229-111, whatever. And then another thing that I like with Superphone, it gathers a lot of information. With Superphone, I can ask any question I want. I can ask your gender. I can ask your race. I can ask how much do you make. I can ask all these things. One of the, because I don't ask all that. I just ask like, where do you live? And I do ask like what state you live in, because when I do my wealth walks now, guess what? I'm going to be texting, hey, if you're going to be in Detroit, it's so much easier than sending an email out that I could just text them like, hey, I'm going to be in Detroit this weekend. Who wants to rock out? So that's what I love about the text messaging, is how, even though you can do that with your email too, and collect where people live, it's much easier with the text messaging to just be like, don't forget, we're meeting today. Or let's just say that, I'm going to walk in Detroit at whatever park, and it ends up being closed when I get there. I can send a quick text to be like, hey, change our mind. We're actually just going to do a city walk. Meet me at such and such corner, because everyone's going to get their text message. You see what I mean?
Y'all know the key to small business that we talk about all the time on Brown Ambition is maintaining strong relationships with your customers. That's what we love about our partner Constant Contact, which has been helping small businesses do this for over 25 years. With their robust suite of email and digital marketing tools, you don't have to be a marketing pro to find customers, build those relationships, and grow your business. Y'all know with my coaching service, Mandy Money, and with Tiffany's Budgetnista brand, we are all about those authentic customer relationships, which is why we love Constant Contact, because they make it so much easier to actually connect with your audience and connect with your customers and build those relationships. They give you all the data you need at your fingertips, so it's easy to see what your customers respond to. And Constant Contact takes the guesswork out of communicating with your customers effectively. So go ahead, start building, expanding, and nurturing your customer base to drive better results. Go to constantcontact.com to get started for free today. Constant Contact, all the digital marketing tools you need, all in one place.
The key, more than anything, I cannot express that you're in a great position because you haven't sold your book yet. You need to be working on building community now. Because
I'm doing it.
And I know, I'm just saying in general, because I know Mandy's doing that, but in general, because these are the people who are going to purchase whatever you're having now, and then they will tell other people. People, like my book is selling on average, before the Netflix thing came out, it was selling about 1,000 books a week. Do you think that's Dreamcatchers? No. A year later, Dreamcatchers been had it. We used to send out emails. They're like, we got it, Tiffany. I'm like, okay. So I stopped sending out emails about that. They were like, we got it. So my Dreamcatchers already have it. So who are these people who are buying the book now? They're friends of friends of friends. So you build an amazing community. You treat them right. You pour into them. You act with integrity and kindness and consistency. And they will tell their friend. And that's who's purchasing the book. Now, it's people who heard about it. And so building your community before you need them, pouring into them before you ask anything of them, that's why it's going to be so critical. Now, a community is, what's so important about a community, a few things. One, they come for you, they stay for each other. So you have to make sure that wherever you're hanging out, they can connect to each other. Because if they can only connect with you, they won't be here long, because you're going to get boring after a while, And so for example, with my my mentee group, that my mentor Tiffany, right? They're doing monthly mentee meetups virtually now that I don't even attend. So I teach them every month. I do a great lesson for them, but then every month they just meet up with each other, and they're loving it, because I know if I don't provide an opportunity for them to do that, they won't stay long, And so just consider, like, what does that look like, and where will my people hang out? So that's critical. So there are places. There's definitely Facebook groups, which is not my fave. I personally like a Facebook group for temporary groups. So, hey, the book is coming out. A great place to do a Facebook. Now, here's the key. I learned this lesson the hard way. If you're going to do a Facebook group, the critical component is, one, the Facebook group should be a private group that people have to answer questions to join, because you don't want more than your 500. Like I said, 50 to 500. And the questions to join, a mistake I made for the Netflix Facebook group was I didn't collect any way to communicate with them outside of the Facebook group. So two mistakes. One, I made it too big. Cause I was like, forget 500, let's do 3,000. 3,000 less people participated. So I ended up shutting that group down because the more people in the group, the less likely you're going to get engagement. And the whole purpose of this type of group, like my Dreamcatcher group is 500,000. That's fine. That's just a free group. It's a free for all, but a specific group that's meant to be your street team needs to be small and compact, And so they weren't hearing me because Facebook is a hater. And so it was critical to me. So I shut that 3,000 group down and I said, okay, Facebook is not letting me talk to y'all. We're going to reopen with 500. And before you enter, one of the questions we asked was, I said, are we going to communicate with them via email or text? We decided text. Before you enter, you had to sign up for, I actually bought like a domain because we had a special sign up that added them to our text list, but the specific text list where I knew these were our Netflix people. And so we had to double check. We had to look when people signed up and then we look for them because behind the scenes, when someone applies to be part of your Facebook group, you can see them on the waiting list. So as soon as we saw you on our text list, we let you in. So now what happens now is when I post something in Facebook, I know you didn't see it because Facebook is a hater, but we text it to everyone as well. Hey, just so you know, I just posted a contest today where if you share your favorite part about the movie, I'm going to be gifting 10 people a copy of my book. If you share on social media your favorite part about the movie, you see what I mean? I don't have to wonder.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Because that was huge that you have to be able to communicate with your people off the social media platform. So social media is a great place to communicate or to convene together. But if you can't say, I can text and email them to say that thing has been posted, they will never see it and it will be having a waste. So just keep that in mind too, that wherever you're hanging out, wherever you're hanging out.
I want to talk about Facebook a little bit because I do have a Mandy Moneymakers Facebook group that I originally started, but I'm trying to stay true to my authentic self. I don't like Facebook. I don't use Facebook. It's just gotten to be cumbersome. So I have been using Mandy Money. Through Mandy Money, I have been using Slack.
Okay.
I love it. But so far it's just been Mandy Moneymakers who have gone through the group coaching program. So it's small. It's like 50 women at this point. And when I have future cohorts, we just add to it. But I don't have a free for all community space right now. So if I don't like Facebook, for me, it's been like Instagram and my email list. Is that okay? Or what do you think?
I was just a place that I've been testing out that I like so far. I actually moved my paid group. So Literature Academy, that group used to be on Facebook because if you do have an online school, it's really smart to have a place where they can hang out, like the community can hang out. And so it used to be our Facebook group. So we switched them over to something called Mighty Networks.
Okay, I've heard of Mighty Networks. Okay.
It's it's an alternative where everybody will see your things. So explore that as an alternative to a group where you're free for. So I've been exploring Mighty Networks. For the paid one, it's been great. So I am tiptoeing with maybe just a few thousand dream catchers to see, can I move the free group here as well?
Okay.
But we're just testing it out. We're going to actually test it out heavily. We're testing it out now. And if we like it in the new year, we're going to make like the big announcements. Come join us here.
And it's like a website. It's not an app.
So yes, the thing is, it can be. Now it costs money. So for the free group, I did not build an app. But for the Literature Academy group, like we built the app. It was not inexpensive. I want to say it was maybe like between $20,000 and $30,000 to build an app. So there's actually an app you can have on your phone, your dream, because I call them members of my online school, my dream builders. There's a dream builder app that you can click on, and it's very much a community space. You can ask questions. It's honestly, it's rocking out. They're loving it there. Now for the free group, I don't know that I'm going to invest to have the app, but at least it will be a site that you can go to. And if I see that's going well, maybe later on next year, I'll invest to have a specific app. So, because what I like about it is that if I can get my free group or most of my free group over to Mighty Networks, it makes it easier than to say, hey, did you know I have an online school? Don't worry, you don't have to go far. It's just right across the street at our other Mighty Networks app. So I can train people how to navigate Mighty Networks on the free group. So when it's time, if they want to bump up and learn more nuanced personal finance, they can join the paid group and they're not having to learn a new skill set about how to navigate the space. So just consider Mighty Networks. It's fairly inexpensive for the free version or the like less expensive version. And then if you find it's really, really, really helpful, there are different tiers with different levels of access to tools. So consider that as well. But community for me, I don't think people want to know like what's the secret sauce behind Budgetnista, and it's my ability to build and connect community. Because anything I do, I don't have to restart the machine. Hey guys, I have a documentary. Now, remember we talked about Mandy earlier, the tree trunk and the branches? Look, I started off doing budgeting one-on-one. Look at one of my branches is literally, I have a documentary. What does that have to do with budgeting one-on-one? Because I grew such a strong branch, I could literally branch off into a documentary. And guess what? Yeah. It was top 1% of films viewed in its first week out. Because of that, because of growing such a strong branch, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I go right back to the very community that I pour into day in, day out, day in, day out. And I say, I have another thing. And they're like, Tiffany, the person that we know, like, and trust for the last 15 years, tell us what it is, sis. We got you. You see what I mean? So, and something else just to consider. I know there's like so many things. I'm like, honestly, I get so excited about it. But one of the mistakes that I see people make when they have their book come out, it's okay in the very beginning to say a couple times, support my book. Past that, nobody cares. Girl, if I see one more time, if y'all could just buy my book, what does the book teach me, sir? You know what I mean? I'm like, I buy books so I can be better. That should be the push. Like, not buy my book because it's going to help me. So even with Netflix, in the beginning, certainly I was like, oh my gosh, my film came out. Yeah. And then I told Logan, stop that language. Now we can phase it out. And now the language is watch the Netflix documentary. It is going to help you to open up the necessary financial conversation you need to be having at home with the people that you connect with financially, your kids, your spouse, your partner, whoever. So that's the push now. Because your mom and sister, they don't know me. They don't care. But if you say, Mom, we really need to watch this because we need to have this financial conversation, that's the reason. So just keep that in mind, that it's okay in the beginning that your core people want to support you. And certainly with your street team, that's okay. But for the larger audience, that language has to stop pretty early on. And you have to illustrate the value of the book. That's why people should get it,
Yeah. What problems are you helping me with? What pain points are you solving? Yeah.
But you see how I illustrated that with the quiz? You took the quiz, you got a 20. Now I've identified to you, you have a problem, sis. You 20% financial health. What should I do? Don't worry. Here's your checklist and go get the book. You see what I mean? Within 2 seconds, it's like, I have a problem. I have a solution. But do you see how smart that is, And so that's just one of the things. And think about this too, as you have your book. It's a mistake that I almost made that honestly, I could shiver about it. I had my, cause once you get your deal, you were going to have different phases of edits and drafts. I was on my final draft, or second to final draft. I was talking to my business coach, Zion, and I was telling him I'm so glad I'm almost done with this book. I'm so overwhelmed. And he was like, oh, what is your, what did he say? What is your, not call to action, but he basically asked me in the book, what are you telling people to go get from your site or whatever?
Oh, I remember. Yes.
And I was like, what?
The website.
Yes. I was like, I don't have it. He was like, Tiffany, are you freaking kidding me? People are going to read this book. They're going to love you and they're going to want more for you. You don't have any toolkit or anything for that? I was like, I didn't know. And he was like, I said, but I gave everything in the book. He said, okay. And because at the back of the book, of Get Your Money, there's spreadsheets, whatever. He said, that's fine. That's great. But people are going to want the digital version of that because what if I write in a book, but I want to give it to my sister? So he's put all the tools from the book into a toolkit. He said, because this is going to allow you to capture people who read the book to then join the ecosystem of Budgetnista. It's like the quiz. And I was like, okay. And tens of thousands of people have joined the email list because of they literally, if you go right now to getgoodmoney.com, it says toolkit. And it's just literally the toolkit because I don't like reading a book and I can't have access to a thing unless I do the toolkit. No, it's really basically just the stuff in the book, but now you have your version of it. Because in the book, I might say, here are the tools that I like, but now I break down the toolkit chapter by chapter. So there's links, there's here's the Excel spreadsheet version so you can fill it out yourself, all these other things, but it's just there. And I thought, well, people are not going to get it because it's in the book. No, tens of thousands of people have downloaded the toolkit. Also to a mistake that I made, I didn't have my, what is that thing called? There's another thing on my site, my book club kit ready in time. It took me 2 or 3 months and I wish I would have had it sooner. So because people wanted to do book clubs from the very beginning and I didn't have it ready because I forgot. And it took forever to get it done. So certainly thinking about people are going to want to do a book club around your book. That's just facts. So creating a book club kit so people can download that for free. And so like if you go to like I said, if you go to getgoodmoney.com, there's a button for book club kit. And when you click on it, guess what I asked for? Your name and your email. Because no matter where you go, I'm like, connect with me in this way. And so they download the book club kit. They have their book club. And so one of the things I did for my book club, certainly you could do anything, is that you want some question prompts for each chapter. But then what I did is I took it a step further, is I taped a really short video so you can watch. Because I imagined a dining room table full of sisters. Like, we're going to do the Budgetnista book club. We're all doing chapter 3. And then they pull up the book club, and then there's a video, a link, and they watch it. And I'm like in the room with you, like, hey, ladies, it's me, Budgetnista girl. So you're about to reach chapter 3. It's all about credit. I know, don't roll your eyes. Credit can be a lot, but I got you. You're about to learn this, and this. I'm proud of you. And sidebar, did I tell you look cute today? Very cute. Okay, anyway, bye. So like I did these fun videos because people were asking me to do personalized videos for their book club. And it just got to be overwhelming. And I said, well, what if I put the videos in the book club? Because I get it. They want to see me. And I'm like, I'm got to do all that. Like, so I have a beginning video. I have a video to introduce every chapter, which is like literally 1 or 2 minutes. I did it literally right on my laptop. I didn't do anything special. I did it like I used whatever, like that movie thing that we have that comes with your Apple, with your Mac. So I recorded it on my laptop.
iMovie.
Exactly. I did iMovie, recorded on my laptop, and then I didn't even edit them. Like, cause they didn't need to be edited because I just wanted 1 or 2 minutes. And then I uploaded it to YouTube as an unlisted video. So no one can find it, but anyone who has the link can watch it. And so I just put it in the YouTube, and then I put the YouTube link in the kit as a clickable link. So that way, see, I didn't have to do all these techie, and I made the book club kit, and even I made the book club kit in Canva for free, because Canva is free unless you like. I think I use like the paid version of Canva, but you don't have to.
Worth it.
But you don't have to.
And
so
use
I
code
made
Brown
it.
Ambition.
Exactly. Oh yeah, use the code Brown Ambition because we love Canva. But I made the kit, the book club kit, and the tool kit in Canva, so you don't have to do all these fancy things. I use YouTube, which is free. But you see, so the sooner you start these things, so literally as soon as you get wind of like what you're thinking about for your book to start to build these things out, I want to say it was about a year out from when the book came out. We started to go hard 7 months out, and even then it felt like a race. So, but like a year out of like kind of planning and this and that, and then 7 months out of like, okay, I started meeting weekly with the team 7 months out. And so people who are like, because people will hit me and be like, Tiffany, my book comes out next month. Can you tell me what I should be doing? I'm like,
what can I do?
You should be time traveling back 7 months. Not that there's nothing that you can do, but like, so I'm glad you're asking now. Like I said,
I thank you for that, because for anyone who wants to say, well, Tiffany already had a big community, so of course her book was a New York Times bestseller. Do you hear how much work Tiffany did and her team? Like it wasn't a given.
Nope.
That you were going to have a New York Times bestseller. No. It wasn't easy. It took so much work. So I'm grateful that you are sharing that. It also makes me feel, I don't know. Listen, I'm not even about that end goal. I'm just trying to think. I just want to be able to say that I did what I could do. Like that I did what I could do to have a successful launch, and that more people can find the book that I want to help them, because that's what I'm doing it for, right? So I know this really became about the book, but also so many components of a successful book launch, I'm seeing them overlap with a successful
it's like a launch is a launch is a launch is a launch. That's what you'll see. Yep. That's what I learned, because we were uniquely ready-ish, because I had launched the Literature Academy multiple times. The challenges I used to do every single year that were free, we had launched that. And so what I found was we collected all of that knowledge from these launches and then added on to it. Because even with launching the Netflix documentary, like we use all the things we did before, and then we learn new things when it comes to launching like a show, which is different. And so, so biggest takeaway for anyone, to me, for a successful business, is to build the foundation of your community that will be there no matter what it is that you're launching. Build that tree business, because you'll be able to branch out beautifully, and you'll be able to still be here. This is almost year 15 for me. And we're still here and still super strong as a result of that community built. It also is a lots of planning and pre-work. I don't, people just think I just dropped the book. No, it was a year before I wrote the book. It was a year's worth of planning, then 6 months of writing the book, then a year of marketing, planning, and execution before you saw what you saw. So look how far in advance. So just pre-planning. If you're not sure where to start, there's a great book called 12-Week Year.
You've been talking about this book. I need to go ahead and get it.
It's
That's
just
like the
a
third
really
time you
great
mentioned
book
it.
because it's a really great book to help you learn how to plan and execute effectively and strategically. So it's just a really great book to do that. So that's a great place. But that's just business in general. Honestly, like if I just really look back at like how are we still here, it's just consistency, it's integrity, transparency, and I'm always pivoting before need be. Me and Mandy always talk about the pre-pivot. Don't wait until the market shifts. Start to look ahead and say, I see some changes coming. Let me get ready now. So by the time everybody's scrambling, you're like, ooh, child, we started that 6 months ago, And so we're just wrapping up the shift. So pre-pivoting.
Don't get comfortable.
No, don't get comfortable because the market is always going to shift. Pre-pivoting and the newest lesson that I'm learning in business, and I know we got to wrap up, is I've learned that I won't say it's a mistake, but a shift that I'm making now is deep versus wide. So the business, what people have been doing in business now is more, bigger. I sell chains, chickens, I sell DVD, I sell all the things, meaning like, and I did that with the Budgetnista. I had like 20 different things that we were doing as Budgetnista, and it was making good money, but it was exhausting and it was expensive to make that good money. And so now Logan and I, who's my core team member, alongside of Rose, Logan's my content manager, we looked at all the things and we chopped it down to about 4 or 5 deliverables that we do at Budgetnista. That's it. And then from the 4 or 5, I said, what specific things do we need to tweak and plug up holes? So for example, you might go to my site and download this free thing. Now, in order to download the free thing, we need your name and your email. Because that's a hole to be plugged. Because we might get 3,000 people a month coming to do that thing, and then we lose you forever. Or, we don't mention in a blog post, did you know I have a free Facebook group, Dream Catchers, if you're needing additional information? So it's like, you didn't even mention that. Make sure. So I'm literally looking at every little nook and corner of the business and saying, how, when somebody comes, can I maintain connection? You know what I mean? And so that's one of the deep things that we're doing. And are we sharing along the way? Like you took the quiz. Hey, there's a book. You got the book. Hey, there's a this. You have a this. You see what I mean? That deep means that we get to make 2 or 3 times as much with less work because we're doing better work with the 4 or 5 things that we're doing than doing 20 things for the same amount. And so deep versus consider that because you won't scramble as much, really looking around your business and saying, okay, we do this one thing, but every step along the way, am I taking the opportunity to pour into the person that just stepped in? Am I taking the opportunity to build a deeper connection, to collect their email, to collect their phone number, to make sure they join the group, to make sure they follow me on social? Am I taking that opportunity for every single vertical that they meet me? If not, then I have a bucket with a hole at the bottom and people are leaking through unnecessarily when making those tweaks could cost you next to nothing. So I think that's if I had to leave you with one big tip, is deep versus wide. But honestly, when I tell you, low key, high key, I love coaching in business almost as much as I love teaching financial education. And so
you can tell.
I love it. And so if you're wanting, like literally for $10 a month, we have mymentortiffany.com. There's like 1,500 of us in there. And I pour into them so much that cause I don't have an outlet for that normally. And cause I don't want to confuse my brand Budgetnista, on my socials and things. And so it's just a place where I pour in. They always tease me. They know my golden rule is it's $10 cause y'all won't stress me out. I know it's worth more than $10. It's not about the $10 for me. It's $10. So 1, I can offset any cost, but then also 2, it's $10 because I have other businesses I have to run and you're not going to stress me out for $10. I will give you your $10 back gladly. Oh, you thought you was going to get a one-on-one? Sis, here's your $10. Cause that's what one lady told me. She's like, wow, I came in here and I thought you were going to coach me one-on-one. I'm like, for $10 a month, sis? Do you pay the babysitter that for a month? No. So I was like, here you go. I gave her I gave her all 3 months back, and I said, I wish you well. I know you're not happy, but that's why it's $10 a month, because it's my stress-free number. But yeah, mymentortiffany.com if you want to join us.
Yeah, please do, y'all. I'm actually a part of that community too. I get your Thoughtful Thursday emails, and all your others. So, all right. Thank you so much, Tiff. I know we got to go, but you gave me so much good food for thought, and I'm actually going to listen to this episode and go back and take all the notes,
and I'm going to give you all the stuff. I'm going to give you all my behind the scenes things.
I can't wait to get that checklist. I don't care. The bigger, the better. I love me a checklist. Just some kind of map, and I'll break it up. I'll organize it, whatever you need. I'll do it. Yeah, such a privilege to get poured into by you. So thank you, friend. No, definitely go to My Mentor Tiffany, y'all. And as a reminder, go to nailyournegotiation.com to sign up for my free masterclass in salary negotiation, which is happening Tuesday, the 27th. You still have time. If you're listening, I hope you still have time. There's only 500 seats, y'all. And it's only been a day, and like 200 of them are booked. So hopefully you still have time. Nailyournegotiation.com to sign up for my free webinar. And if you haven't yet, go back to last week's episode, listen to Tiffany getting her negotiation tips from me. Yes. And we can't wait to hear from y'all.
Yes.
See you next week.
If you want to ask us questions like live in the studio, go to our Instagram, leave us a voice note, because we'd love to have you on. And any links that we mentioned, we'll try to put them in the show notes, from Mandy's negotiation class to my mentoring. We'll put them in the show notes for y'all. But yes, we want to have you here so you can ask your business, your career, and your finance questions. Okay?
I love it. All right. Until next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Hey, BA fam. We're on YouTube. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that little bell icon and just tap that for us. Show the BA fam how much you love us. And that way, you'll also get notifications when new videos drop. Also, share the channel with a friend. We're always like, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And thank y'all so much again for all the support.